The EU ambassador to Albania has commented on the Netherlands' request to the EC to suspend the free movement of Albanians by confirming that Albania has met all the conditions to retain free movement. The European Energy Committee has raised concerns over the stagnation of energy sector reforms after the appointment of Minister Belinda Baluku. Germany will finance a €2 million project for developing agriculture in Albania, with Minister Blendi Curci stating that after the implementation of this project, another fund of €8 million will also be given. It's 6 o'clock on Wednesday, the 17th of April 2019. Good evening and thank you for tuning in to RTV Ora's English edition. My name is Alexandra, bringing you the only daily update of the local Albanian news translated into English. Yesterday, the Netherlands House of Representatives heard a proposal tabled by 5 political forces, 3 of which are part of the ruling coalition, to restrict travel for Albanian citizens by re-implementing visa requirements. The proposal was approved with a majority 92 of 150 possible votes. The decision by the Netherlands authorities comes after the majority in the lower chamber requested the reintroduction of visa requirements for Albanian nationals. Despite this decision, the European Union has confirmed that the free movement of Albanians in Europe remains valid and the chances of this being removed are almost zero. The head of the EU delegation in Tirana, Luigi Soreca, has reacted today to the decision made by the Parliament of the Netherlands to vote in favour of the decision to re-implement visa requirements for Albanian nationals. The reason for the decision was given by the Netherlands as that there are growing concerns about the role of Albanians in different criminal activities in their country. Luigi Soreca stated that Albania and the Netherlands should continue their cooperation across all important areas. Giving a public appearance, the EU ambassador assured citizens of the country that the free visa travel in the Schengen area will continue. Nothing has changed. Albanians can continue to travel without the need to obtain a visa prior. We call on the Albanian and Netherlands governments to intensify cooperation. The visa-free travel regime was a fantastic achievement for Albania. We're convinced that the Albanian authorities will take all the necessary measures so that this achievement can be preserved, Soreca said. He went on to add that the Netherlands would have to prove a link between the organised crime and visa-free travel. An EC report was completed 4 months ago, which looked at the progress of suspending the visa mechanism. In December's report, the Commission confirmed that Albania has met all the criteria for continued visa-free travel. In the same report, the EC identified the measures that Albania should take for positive progress in the fields of illegal immigration and organised crime. That report made it very clear to the Albanian government what measures should be taken. We have regulations for these issues and, accordingly, another report will be presented in December 2019, said Soreca. The Italian ambassador, Alberto Cutillo, shared similar views to Soreca, stating, "The Commission evaluates the results of the visa policy annually, and this assessment was given just a few months ago. We can say that it has produced positive results. So, we expect that when this assessment is conducted at the end of this year, we will reconfirm these positive results." From the Italian experience, we have never established a link between visa-free travel and increase in crime. I can only speak for Italy, and I'm sure each country has different experiences, but in our judgment, there is no such connection, said Alberto Cutillo. The ambassador believes that Albania deserves the opening of negotiations, but added that this does not mean that the country's leaders can take their foot off the accelerator. The advice I gave to the Albanian government remains the same. Work hard and do not expect guaranteed results. European integration is the right direction for Albania. Albania deserves the opening of EU accession negotiations, but that does not mean it can relax. It must continue with the path of reform and, as I said earlier, when all political forces cooperate, these reforms are more efficient and more effective. As such, I encourage everyone to cooperate, expressed Cutillo. Albanians have been able to travel throughout the Schengen zone, including to the Netherlands, without the need for an entry visa since 2010. Despite the fact that Prime Minister Edi Rama stated that ministerial changes were made to further develop the country's economy, this does not seem to be the case with the Energy and Infrastructure Minister Belinda Baluku. Janez Kopac, the director of the Energy Community Secretariat, presented the annual report to the Parliamentary Commission and stated that reforms in the energy sector have become stagnant following the departure of Dick Nouri. Chignuri was replaced and the enthusiasm for implementing energy reforms completely dropped off. It is understood that the new minister is not well versed in the operations of the sector and needs time to become acquainted. I hope she can achieve it. At this point, we confirm that we have noticed a slowdown in market reforms, said Kopacz. Frequently changing rules in the renewable energy sector causes foreign investors to lose confidence, according to Kopacz. Renewable energy is very positive since auctions have been made in this sector. But on the other hand, the lack of investor confidence is linked to unpredictability in regards to the legal aspect, explained Kopacz. Delays in approving fuel reserves are another problem, according to the director of the Energy Community Secretariat. The current system of holding emergency oil reserves for allocation to the oil industry is equal to 90 days of average sales. This has deteriorated, and we expect the bill for holding emergency oil reserves, which was drafted in 2016 with the Secretariat's assistance, to be approved as soon as possible, concluded Kopacz. Agriculture remains a priority sector for the Albanian economy. As such, the German government has committed to financing a project to the value of €2 million, aimed at sustainable development and increasing the competitiveness of Albanian products. This agreement aims to properly address the challenge of consolidating and orienting agriculture in Albania towards a more competitive industry. The agreement was signed by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Bledi Čuči, and the Director of GIZ, Hans Kassens. Minister Čuči also expressed optimism that this project will be succeeded by another significant investment. After the implementation of this first program, we will reach another agreement for an additional fund of €8 million. During 2018, exports of agricultural products saw a significant increase of €110 million. On the occasion of the signing of the agreement, Minister Čuči said that this package is entirely focused on realistic objectives. The project outlines 4 main pillars of cooperation between the Ministry of Agriculture and GIZ. These are the implementation of the rural development strategy and policies, promotion of the value chain of typical products in certain areas, improving education and enhancing knowledge in agriculture and rural tourism, and enhancing capabilities and knowledge in agriculture and rural development. The Democratic Party accused the Rama Veliaj duo of having doubled taxes for small businesses operating in the capital. Former Democratic Party MP Yorida Tabaku said that any businesses today pay €328 million more than when compared to 2015. According to her, although taxes have increased, the increased government funds are not being translated into public work. As a result of this situation, Tabaku said 25,000 businesses have been forced to close their doors in Tirana. Tabaku underlined that the Democratic Party has a concrete plan to improve this situation. However, no details of such a plan were provided. Miners were again in protest in front of the Prime Ministry today. Their demand for the approval of their special status remains non-negotiable. The miners said that if the status is not provided prior, they will not participate in the upcoming election. Some even went as far as to say they would begin a hunger strike. With the approval of the special status for miners comes the requirement for their pension to be set at a rate no less than 175% of the standard minimum wage. One of the main requirements of miners is that their minimum pension is not less than 175% of the minimum wage. The miners have continuously protested regarding this issue in their hometowns and in front of government institutions in Tirana, but are still yet to see their demands met. Over the past few years, the area near the shores of the Asumi River in Berat have been transformed into one of the most problematic waste landfills, despite the city being protected by UNESCO. Finally, it looks like the situation is set to change. After the removal of all the garbage, the municipality has a plan to turn it into a green space with an initial goal of planting 600 trees. Meanwhile, the municipality of Leja has launched an action for planting about 5,000 acacia trees on the hill near the castle of the city in an attempt to prevent mass erosion. 1 year ago, a wall collapsed due to landslides in this area, which also caused road blockages and threatened some homes. The municipality aims to focus their tree planting activity on the most problematic areas with the fewest trees currently. And that's the news across the country today. Thank you for watching our English edition this evening, and be sure to join us again every Monday to Saturday at 6 p.m. for the latest news from Albania. Once again, on behalf of RTV Ora, thank you and good night.